We're finally live. We say all the time that when we have a start time, it's ish. So it's 6-ish. That led to, what time is it now? About 7? It's almost 7.
We're 8 minutes early.
6:53. So the SportsBiz Podcast, we have special guest Louis Petrucci in his living room out in Long Island. Thank you for joining us, Louis.
Oh, come on. First time I had guests in my house for years.
Really? You got to put some painting on the walls. That's just you can explode.
I'm hanging up all my Ward Melville championship trophies. You can see the walls there.
we got the coach Chris Solano over here as well. He's to my left. He's not on the broadcast right now, but you can hear his voice.
That's all we need.
That's all we need. So, Louis, thanks for joining us. I think we got a big night. The reason why we wanted to have you on tonight because we have two things. One thing in particular we want to talk about is the college admissions scandal. So I think it's important to get it from not only a college coach's perspective, but a high school coach's perspective to talk about that. And then we want to talk about Trout's, $1 trillion contract. So, all right.
That's awesome.
So let's jump into it. Let's talk about the college admissions scandal that happened. Is it something that was it surprising to you, Lou?
No, not really. I mean, anybody with affluence, they tend to use it. I know we're from West Haven. You know what I mean? The only thing I know about a lot of money is I can't count it. You know what I'm saying? Right. People have money, they throw it around. I mean, if George Bush's son applied for Yale, he's getting in.
Right. I use that example too.
You know, I mean, I don't know. I feel bad that people have to use their money to advance their children. That's sad in itself. I'm sure they've gotten every chance in the book anyway. Right. I blame the coach who took the money. They're the ones at fault. You know, anybody can bribe anybody, but when you take the money, you're the one doing it. And I just feel bad for the kid more than anything else.
Has it been going on for a long time, you think, Lou?
Oh yeah, definitely. I can't see why not. I think it had to go. Start with the revolution. I can't see anybody with money has gotten it through power. And I'm speaking from a layman's term. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm speaking out of line. But I've never seen the rich get poorer. I've seen the rich get richer in my lifetime. No, I don't know.
The rich get poor. That doesn't happen, right?
That doesn't happen. I don't see any, unless they gamble it away or make bad real estate investments. I never see the richer get poorer. That might be a yogiism, but I have no idea.
That is a yogiism. The rich, yeah. So let's jump over to Chris. Chris, what's your thoughts on it, just from a college coach's perspective?
I think to speak on Lou's point, for a coach to get involved in it, because here's the thing: you're not getting involved in a situation where you're stealing a recruit or someone that's even going to help your program or, quite honestly, even play your sport. This was typical just greed. You took a payoff and, from what I understand, drummed up a fake recruiting of a potential student athlete that didn't exist, and it was purely about money. So, to me, I don't even look at it as a college coach getting involved. I look at it as someone who took a bribe, because this had nothing to do with, me stealing a recruit from someone, me recruiting illegally to get a student athlete to play in my program or a program. This was strictly about taking a money grab. And you can't tell me, and to talk about if this has been going on for a while, you can't tell me this guy invented the wheel, right? This guy who ran this company was the only guy to ever think this up. Right. This has been going on forever. Now, the problem is you've got celebrities involved now, and from what I understand, the government kind of stumbled on this, right? They didn't probe this and look at directly for this. They stumbled on it, and then it got blown open. And now, timing's everything, and the people that are involved at this time are the ones who are getting called out. Think about all the people who've done it before. It's probably too many to name.
Yeah, the funny part about it is they stumbled upon it because they were investigating something else within the colleges.
Correct.
So
what's that?
Right. So what's going to blow the lid off of that? So you can't tell me that admissions officers haven't taken money before.
You're set up to do it.
Right.
You're set up to be in a position where you're going to have to stay morally sound to turn it down. And when you're in that spot.
Right.
And I agree with Lou. people with affluence just wield that hammer. And I'm going to ask this to you guys. To me, is it more of the ego of the person, the parent, or is it just wanting what's best for your child? What does it come down to?
I believe it's the ego of the parent. They want to run around in their bars they go to and their country clubs and their golf memberships. Go, hey, my son's going to Yale. My son's going to Harvard. My daughter's going to Wesleyan. My daughter's going to Trinity. I'll keep on. At least out of Connecticut. My daughter's going to Stanford. You know what I mean? I think it's a status symbol. You know, like whether they use his degree or not, it's just still a status symbol. I graduated from Penn. I don't know.
So the real victim then is obviously the child.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to think a person of a multimillionaire is a victim. You know what I mean? I think, I think that eventually they're going to give them the money they have to buy a house. They're going to give them a beautiful wedding. The guest's going to bestow upon them thousands of dollars of gift. You know what I mean? Me and you count $5 bills. I'm hoping some of the bills Lincoln has a beard on them. You know what I'm saying, Chris? So, I have no idea. That's Frank Vieira's joke, by the way.
But I guess my other question is, it's not that they were all trying to get their children into top level institutions. It wasn't just Yale, Harvard, Stanford. And I don't want to offend any university out there, but is it really worth $500,000 to get into UCLA or USC or maybe it is out there.
Yeah.
But that kind of struck me as odd. It wasn't just a Yale or a Harvard or a Stanford. But again, I'm not in that world, so
a specific program, like I know
USC Film School is one of the top in the country, so that I understand. Things like that. I was just shocked that it wasn't just the elite schools. Yeah, when I say elite, I mean the Ivies and the those schools in that league. But nothing surprises me anymore these days when things come out. This one didn't, but it's interesting.
So you're the soccer coach at Yale, right? And you're probably doing okay financially, right? You're in a good position.
You're probably just breaking six figures or just below it.
Right.
Would be my guess. I have we do no fact checking on this podcast.
Absolutely.
So no one get offended.
No one.
But my guess is you're doing just at six figures or just below.
Right.
So you got offered 4 times your salary. Was that it? 400,000?
400,000. 400,000 cash. No one's going to figure this out, right?
That's cash, right? That's 400,000.
Cash. Untaxed.
Yeah.
Under the mattress, Lou. You have yours.
Well, I hope nobody hears about that mattress.
So what happens now? Lou, what happens now? What happens with the integrity of some of these schools? Do people forget about it? Is there other things that are going to happen now with opening up investigations?
Listen. I think the Ivy Leagues and the UCLAs of the world, they're such major institutions of higher learning and sports. They'll push this under the rug. Listen, it's one person getting greedy, like Chris said, and Coach Solano hit it right on the head. I think when you're in a financial state, you're not thinking straight. I don't know idea. I don't know what the person's mindset was when the offer was made, and what they did with the money when they got the envelope or however the money was put in their account. I have no idea. But listen, the morality in this world has totally disintegrated from all levels, and I think that people are learning that in politics and education and things that we trusted, even the church. Everything's disintegrating before our eyes. I don't know why it's happening. Maybe it's greed. I don't know. I wish I could put a finger on it. It's got to be more than just sports. The sports always, to me, I know you, Robbie, and you, Coach Solano, it's always so much fun. Yep. And, I read the story about the NBA referee betting on games. I'm so disappointed about that. I read about Pete Rose, a guy who I idolized, number 14, hustling down the line, taking bets on baseball games. Pete Rose epitomizes every little guy that ever played middle infield, and you find out he's betting on games. And we love baseball. We still have fans. You know what I mean? Rob, on in 15 minutes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, you hit it on the head, the morality of what's happening right now. And again, I don't think it's something that's it's new. I think it's been going on for years, especially at the Ivy League schools and some of the bigger brand schools out there. You know, they call it legacy programs. And Louis, you hit it on the head. I use the example a lot, the Bushes. You know,
Yeah, come on.
you know, hey, how much money you're giving, and you know, being in higher ed, you understand that money talks, and not saying that happens everywhere, and then it's happened in any of the schools we've been involved with. That's another disclaimer out there, Chris, because we don't do any fact checking. But yeah, it's interesting.
But how about being the parent and not having not blinking an eyelash about the fact that you just gave $500,000 to someone to get you someone in that institution for the next 4 years, and you just walk around like it's any other day, right? And that's just how it goes, and that's what we do. That's crazy to me. Not to mention, you know.
Right, Chris. It's like you and I and Robbie going out and leaving a $5 deli.
Right.
Think about it.
Right.
I mean, $500,000, like, oh, all right, I'll make it back another way. You know what I mean? I'll raise my client's fees $10. They'll get the money back. Hey, I never like being negative, but when you hear something like this, it tends to lead you to not believe that everything's on the up and up.
Right.
You know, look at the stock market. I mean, Bernie Madoff robbing his own people, his own kind, his friends, relatives. The money got to be such an influence on his life that he didn't care who he hurt. I just don't, it's more than just Ponzi schemes back in the 1920s. It's just people have lost their mind. And now the internet, social media, television, everything on there, we're hearing more and more bad stories because it's more publicized. If something went on in California, we never hear about it. It wouldn't pop up in New Haven Register.
Right.
You know what I mean? You wouldn't hear it on WELI. It wouldn't be a news day. You know? So now the internet, streaming. Look at all three of us on one podcast in 2 different states. Imagine that.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know. I don't know. The moral fiber has declined in our world, and I don't know. Look at Tim Donaghy, the basketball referee. He wasn't fixing games, but he could influence games.
100%.
And people out there knew it. So if you're betting on these games, you have no shot to win because he knew how the game was going to wind up.
Right.
He was betting on both sides of the game. When the line went up, he bet. The line went down, he bet. How do you compete with that? Why'd you bet a basketball game ever again? People still do. Still bet baseball. I think it's gonna blow over and blow over soon, and it'll be something else. Like Robbie said, what is gonna come next? See, if we can predict what's gonna come next in this podcast, this will go viral. That'll be the end of it. We'll all retire, Robbie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
I think the interesting part, too, is the celebrity factor. And I think we lose sight of, when you see celebrities and you see their persona, their image on television, like you think Lori Loughlin, is that her name, from Full House?
Right.
Yeah. Uncle Jesse's girlfriend?
Yeah, what was her name? I
don't remember.
Yeah,
but you see them in a certain way based on their character on television, and you think, I've heard people say, like, I can't believe she did that. But you lose the fact that these people are human beings,
right? And
there's other sides to people, like not what you see on television,
right?
That's always the reminder to me too. Like, if Uncle Jesse's girlfriend can do it, anybody can do it.
How about Bill Cosby?
It was Aunt Becky. Thank you,
Becky.
Alex.
Yeah.
Well, how about Bill Cosby? That's the worst one.
Yeah, that is the worst one. Yeah. Bill Cosby. That whole thing with Bill Cosby. You talk about a guy that was just spent his entire career as a hypocrite. Think about it. His entire career, he was a hypocrite. The guy who called Eddie Murphy and said he shouldn't swear. The guy who said that you shouldn't talk badly about women. The guy who said that, the world at certain times was not a good place because of certain events. Look what he was doing.
It's unbelievable. Basketball office. Like, what do you, like, you know what I mean? Like, what do you, like, I guess what we're learning, Chris, is that what we see on television, including me and my the Bow Wow Chateau here in Creed Leeward Lane, Oh, what you see?
Yes.
I don't know what you see.
Well, I think we're all becoming immune to it. Nothing surprises us anymore. Nothing shocks us anymore. The ecosystem of what parents are willing to pay for, what parents are willing to do for their kids, and the access that they have to do that, they're just going to find another way. And if it isn't an advisor or the admissions office or a college coach willing to take money, I'm sure, Chris, you've taken millions of dollars.
Oh yeah, can you tell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're podcasting right now.
I think the only money I've ever been offered was to go away, and I obviously didn't take that either. So, yeah, believe me, that wasn't never came. Now you got to imagine that soccer coach at Yale. Obviously, none of us were involved, but you got to imagine someone comes to him and says, "Listen, this is happening. It's been happening. You'll never get caught. You just do this for us. Here's the money, free and clear. No one will ever know." I mean, I don't know. A moment of weakness, you agree, and then who knows? So I believe that coach was let go last year.
Yes.
Because, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if anything had to do with one, had to do with the other, but I don't know. They currently weren't working at Yale this whole past year, I think. So that one to me, I have no idea how. You don't think that something's going to happen. Well, if this guy comes to you and says, "I've been doing this for 25 years and nothing's ever happened," and I go look it up, you're just putting someone in a really tough spot right there.
I don't know.
It changes things. It changes things even more, I think, now.
Me too.
Now you get the basketball. Now you have the basketball issue with the FBI getting involved. Now you have this issue with the FBI getting involved. You have our college debt right now is over $1 trillion, of which 70-something billion has not been paid. It's delinquent. And kids are refusing to pay because they can't.
Yep.
All of these things are this volcano ready to erupt on higher education, and the system in general.
Agreed.
And we're not talking about millions. We're talking about trillions.
Right.
And that's scary.
That is crazy.
And unfortunately, not to cut you off, the saddling of debt to, college age people, that debt is lifelong in a lot of cases. It echoes for years after, and the ramifications of that for a generation of people that has this college debt, what that does to our economy, people don't think about either. I mean, it's just
right.
It's really, really,
it's crippling.
And where does it stop?
It doesn't. It doesn't. For the fact that we are led to believe that you have to go to Harvard, Yale, Stanford, MIT, Notre Dame, UCLA to be able to get a good job when you get out.
Robbie, you went to UNH. Look at you now.
Well, I'm still here. I haven't left.
Coach P.
Yeah.
Grew up in West Haven.
Right. I'm back.
Look where he is now.
Right.
Lucky.
But how about this? How about this, Louis? How about there are students at Stanford that have now sued, right? They are suing for $5 billion, saying that has just devalued. This whole thing has devalued their education.
They got a point.
They have a point. However, you're only as good as your effort and your talent once you get out.
Correct.
How do you prove that? How do you prove that?
Right.
So,
right.
And that you can't prove it.
No.
You can't prove it. It'll take years to do the analytics on it, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Plus, there's no doubt that this will go away, and then everyone else that goes to Yale, Stanford, Harvard, wherever this went down, will be fine. In terms of, you're not going to not hire the guy from Yale because the soccer coach took $400,000.
Right.
That has no bearing on your job perspectives, I wouldn't think, unless you get implicated, right? Unless you get implicated and you're Aunt Becky's daughter,
right?
Then what are you worried about?
Right.
But I mean, if it's a chance to drum up a lawsuit and see what happens, that's the way of the world now too.
Hey, listen.
How'd they settle things in West Haven, Lou? Did you sue? Did you guys sue, or how'd you settle problems?
I don't remember.
Okay, are you not at liberty to say?
Listen, I plead the fifth on that one, buddy. I went to Lorenzo's.
Yeah.
But really, I mean, guys, look at all the coaches that have been fired for doing bad things, and the basketball coaches, they'll get jobs again. All the guys get involved in recruiting scandals, they get jobs again because
you just have to go away for the right amount of time, Lou, and then you can come right back.
100% right. And all you need is one person, one guy, to be your godfather. Say, hey, listen, it's all behind you, right? Yeah, come on. I'm going to recruit. I'm going to do the right thing. Next thing you know, they get jobs.
Yes, and especially if you win, you will always have a job. It may take a little time for you to get another one, but you'll always get one. History has proven that. You don't even have to guess on that one. History has proven.
I mean, they bring in so much money.
I'll get recruited. And here's the thing, you just said it, Rob. And what's the root of all of this? Money. Because if the big college programs in basketball and football, namely, win, everybody makes money. So you know what? We can bend our morals. Well, if I want to hire Coach Lou Petruzzi because he wins, it's okay if he's a little morally corrupt.
Bald, fat, that's all right.
It's all right. That's the model. That's the business model.
Well, because the bottom line is they've got bills to pay. They've got alumni to pull money from. I mean, my own niece, I was talking to my sister today. I don't think she ever went to a basketball game until she went to the University of Kentucky. She goes to every game. All of a sudden, she loves college basketball. Well, why? It's the thing to do in Kentucky. We live up here in the Northeast. You see UConn basketball. It's amazing. Gino has never done anything wrong. Not a recruiting violation, nothing. I don't know. I don't question him, but how do you win 90 games in a row? Everybody comes to you. There's no.
It's amazing, actually. That whole thing.
Come on back, Chris. Chris, if you win 20 games in a row at New Haven, which I think you almost did last year, right? You won 19 in a row?
16 in a row. We started out 16 in a row.
100% right. Think about the pressure to win 30.
Yeah, unbelievable. And that spans over a few seasons. So it's not 1 year. You had to do it an entire year, do it another entire year. That's unbelievable to me.
Right.
That's unbelievable.
And now imagine the place that you're playing in. You're playing at the Reese up in Hartford. You're playing the Gamble. Sold out. And ticket prices don't go down. They go up. The more you win, the prices go up.
Yep.
Think about that pressure. Yeah. You're trying to tell me that those coaches that go out there, there's no incentive to try to break a rule, call a kid on the phone when you're not supposed to, the quiet period. Oh, well, listen, do me a favor. Text this kid, have that kid call me on a private line. Come on.
Yep. Yeah, and that's wiffle ball compared to what the other stuff they do.
That's what I'm saying.
The phone calls is nothing. But that world is a different world. I'm not in, thankfully, and I don't. But winning is everything. It's just the way it is right now in this day and age. It's a winning culture.
I mean, look at the big game. Look at the big deal it was with Zion Williamson rips a sneaker. Think about it. He ripped a sneaker. All of a sudden, that stock dropped.
Yeah, I know.
Look at the millionaires. The millionaires played puts on that one. They made millions on that one, Robbie. As soon as that sneaker ripped, they're waiting at 9:30 in the morning when that bell rings down in Manhattan. And they're betting on Nike stock go down like it was the last stock on earth. And they made millions, I guarantee it. College basketball, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Basketball. Big thing, man. Big thing. Who knew, Robbie, when you and I were children in West Haven, that UConn women's basketball would be like pro sports in Connecticut?
You never even thought about going to UConn back then. It wasn't even a discussion. If you think about it, UConn's stuck in the woods.
Right.
It's right up there. Might as well be in Ohio to us. Everything, we lived in a world within a 30-mile radius.
Right.
So
it's a different state.
Right. And in UConn, where is that?
Right.
And you couldn't give away tickets. You could not give away tickets, men or women basketball. It wasn't even a consideration for you. And all of a sudden they came out, and every guy over the age of 65 is the biggest fan ever. And when your state, reputation is based upon women's basketball, there's
and
something,
men for that reason.
and men, there's something unique about that, and that happened very quickly.
Right. Well, for a long time, the highest paid state employee was Calhoun, right?
Yeah, Calhoun, now Gino.
Now Gino is.
Right.
So go figure. Those are your two highest paid state employees.
Yeah, but when you talk about people understanding the economics behind it,
yeah,
and how much could you pay that guy? But the amount of, forget about the amount of tickets, sponsorship, the brand, the admissions, the retention, the donations back to the school, the businesses that now want to do collaboration or provide millions of dollars of research for UConn students, just to work with them and to recruit them out of there over basketball, men's and women's basketball.
Right.
So when people don't understand the economics of it and they look at it, and it's rightfully so, how could he be making $7 million a year? Yeah, but he's affected probably $250 million worth of revenue that comes in for the school annually, not just with basketball.
Right.
So, yeah, it's an amazing case study, and I don't know if that could happen in too many other states because of all the influence with other sports. I think the Idahos and Iowas and maybe states that are a little bit more isolated. But Louis, what did you think growing up in this state too at that time?
Well, listen, everybody in West Haven would be glued to the television set on Friday night for the Knicks on Channel 9 or a UConn basketball, maybe Channel 13, watching Tony Hansen for 25 points. You know what I mean? I'm 58 years old. UConn basketball was like pro basketball to us. The NBA game of the week on Sunday afternoon, the Knicks and the Celtics. The only thing we could watch was UConn basketball. It's amazing how much UConn basketball has become part of the fabric of the state of Connecticut in the wintertime. That's what amazes me. Rob, and I think minor league baseball in Connecticut. Still have some good minor league baseball in Connecticut. But back in the 70s, you had the Bristol Red Sox. You had the West Haven Yankees. Yeah, you were down 2 hours away to go see Pawtucket, the Red Sox. New England, our life in New England was based on the minor league sports. I never went to Yankee Stadium. You couldn't afford that. You couldn't get in the car and go to Yankee Stadium and watch the Yankees. Went to West Haven, watch the West Haven Yankees. We went up to Bristol, watched the Bristol Red Sox. Went to Pawtucket, watched the Red Sox. It was fun. Now today, with basketball, UConn basketball, it's pro basketball. It's amazing. That's why Gino and Calhoun got the money. They earned it. They earned it. They recruited the players. They built the program, and all outside. Very few players. Listen, until Corny Thompson from Middletown went to UConn. That ever since then, UConn basketball started to blow up. But now, how many Connecticut kids are playing on UConn, women's or men's? If you tell me 2, they're not starters. That's all I can say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Chris, look at your team. Your baseball team. How many kids from West Haven, New Haven, are on your baseball team?
Currently, none.
Yeah, and it's not a knock on the community or the job you're doing. It's the recruiting process and the way you have to win goes outside our local area. The good kids got other options. So now with these other options becomes the cheating, the money, the recruiting. How about years ago, St. John's? They had the AAU. Remember that? In Carnesecca? Everybody claimed Carnesecca, all the AAU kids in New York City. Come on. You don't think Lou Carnesecca wanted to win? Come on. The Pat Ewing sweepstakes at Georgetown?
Yeah, that's right. That was a sweepstakes. You're right.
It was sweepstakes. You had 5 schools, and Mike Jarvis got a job. Mike Jarvis went from Cambridge, Ridge, and Latin, Robbie, got a job at Boston University, went to George Washington. He made a lot of money. He made a lot of money as a high school basketball coach. That don't happen in high school baseball.
Patrick Ewing, Cambridge, Ridge, and Latin.
Yeah. Remember, Patrick Ewing, his only loss in high school came at the hands of Wilbur Cross.
That's right.
Only loss. Can you imagine?
Wow.
How good Wilbur Cross had to be back then?
I was going to say that team must have been.
Oh, they're loaded. And they beat Cambridge Ridge and Latin. And Cambridge had Ramil Robinson, Carl Hobbs, Patrick Ewing. They were loaded. And it just goes to show you, I think Connecticut sports is really one of the greatest places ever in terms of, like, you know, the Northeast. You know, I know New Jersey's loaded, and I know you hear about the great state of New York, but it's nothing like Connecticut. I mean, look at that. Rob, speaking of sports business, what high school venue is better than Mohegan Sun for all 5 Connecticut state basketball championships? Think about that money-wise, Rob. Think about the business, Rob. The business the Mohegan Sun is bringing in just to play them. I don't know. I doubt they charge a dime to host it in their arena. I doubt it. I mean, the shops, the gambling, it's unbelievable.
Well, you would think the business model for any casino is you need traffic. So for them to put it on the arm to have the games there and not charge would make perfect sense, because you need people in the building. That's how casinos operate, right? So yeah. I agree. It's probably they probably charge nothing if they charge at all. And the average person, I'm sure you can find the study somewhere, would probably spend $100 there. And if you bring in, I don't know how many people those games draw ballpark.
I have no idea.
100. Right? There you go. So, yeah, it's a genius move.
It's a genius move. And I'm saying it's the business of money. You know what I mean? And,
right.
I don't know. When I heard about that story, back to the original point of the podcast, what makes a person take $400,000? I think the hopes of getting a better life, and I feel bad because who knows what circumstances are in place in that person's world that makes them lose all sense of morality.
400,000. It wasn't
a lot of money.
4 million. Yeah, that's. So I did want to bring up, there was one term that came from this that, if you guys haven't heard, I think you'll like. So they had the generation of parents that were called helicopter, right? And they were kind of hovering around and always kind of, and Louis, at the high school level, I'm sure you know about this, they're always hovering around and they're near, and they got their eyes on everything and they're hovering. The new term for involving parents in this type of scheme it's called snowplow parenting, where they just clear every obstacle for their child.
Right.
That's the new one. Forget hovering. Now they just clear out all obstacles.
You want to be in that pile.
I wish I invented it. I didn't. I was reading an article today about it. It's called snowplow parenting. So I thought you guys would like that.
It's going to be lawnmower parenting soon. I got to with that one too. It'll be compost.
Yeah, right.
Weed whacking parents.
Yeah.
Chop me off the legs. I'll be 4'1". They'll be all over for me.
And we've talked about this in the past, Rob, and Lou, I've talked to you about this. Clearing out obstacles is not a way to help improve your child's success in life. It actually does the opposite.
Oh, yeah.
I think. And unfortunately, that's what's going on these days, and it's really unfortunate. But if you talk about money for a second, how about Trout?
Oh, my goodness.
How about the contract Trout signed with the Angels?
Hey, good for him.
Are you that surprised, though?
No.
I think the market was set, right? Harper and Machado set a market, and they went right to work. Trout's people went right to work, and the Angels went right to work and said, okay, if they set the market there, this is what we think you're worth. Or Trout said, this is what I want. They met in the middle. I think it's actually, as crazy as it sounds, it's probably the right number.
Yeah.
In my mind.
It's not my money. That's all.
Yeah, right.
But
But if you're paying $300 plus for the other two guys, he's the best player in baseball. And let's be honest, the Angels could not afford to lose him.
No.
He is their entire franchise. He's their entire franchise. He's their LeBron. So I thought it could have been more. I mean, I know that sounds crazy too.
Hey guys, what better way to tell your fan base and your clientele that you're committed to making baseball fun in your stadium? Like
exactly right.
That kind of money. I think it's a great move by the Angels, and it shows their fan base that, you know what, hey, listen, we care about the money you spend, the hot dogs you buy, the popcorn, whatever, the ice cream, whatever you buy, we appreciate it. And you know what? Maybe we're not going to the World Series, but at least get to watch one of the greatest players in baseball. He might go down as one of the top 10 players in baseball history. We don't know, but he's on the right track.
Closest thing to Mantle that we have, I mean, in terms of skill set, except he's not a switch hitter, but closest thing in terms of power and speed.
I mean, Chris, can you imagine? You got Mike Trout in the middle of your lineup?
No, I can't. I cannot imagine.
No?
Yeah, I can't imagine.
He hits some balls out of New Haven.
It would. Our fences would bother him.
What was the final number? 415?
Was it 4? Again, no fact checking.
Absolutely no fact checking.
It was 12 years.
Teddy too low. You know what it is.
It was 12 years.
$437 million, wasn't it?
We are actually going to fact check this right now. First time ever.
430.
430.
430 guaranteed over 12.
Oh,
guaranteed over 12.
Every baseball dollar is guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
So 12 years, 430.
A mere bag of shells.
I think I could live on that.
Tell you what, how about the agent, Boris?
Yeah.
Huh? What'd you get? Percent of that, Rob? What'd you get, 3% or 5%?
There's a cap in Major League Baseball, isn't there?
I think there's a cap of 5.
5%?
Maybe. I could be wrong. Again, we do not fact check.
No. No, there has to be a cap. There has to be a cap, probably 3%.
$20 million.
Yeah. Yeah, 12-year, 430, right. Yeah.
$20 million. Guys.
That's
Right? $20 million. 10%, 40, $20 million the guy made. It's not bad.
For commission. That's a pretty good day for commission, isn't it?
Oh, you gotta wait 12 years, but so what? Said Bobby Bonilla. He's getting paid to 2038.
The NFL has a 3% cap.
That's what it is. Major League Baseball has to have one too.
You would think.
Yeah, I think they all do. I think those were all baked into the CBA agreements.
Oh, yeah. How about being in Scott Boris's office if that goes down, huh?
Yeah, how many bottles of champagne did they pop?
Oh man, they weren't popping brute, that's for sure.
So with those two contracts, is that changing a little bit in Major League Baseball now? Do you think it's back on the rise? Do you think it never went anywhere, or do you think it's just kind of a new generation of spending?
Listen, Rob, I want to speak for all the baseball fans. I think the aura of baseball is the fact that it's in the summertime, nice weather, the parks are fun, they're exciting now, they're so fan-friendly, you're outside, it's still a fun game to watch, and it's a social event. They're tailgating outside of baseball games now. I mean, it's just another party to go to, you know, and more and more, I think baseball is going to benefit from this. More people are going to go watch. Look at all the money the Phillies claim they brought in when they signed Harper. I mean, the owners are going, the home run guys, getting our money back already.
Right.
And you know what I feel bad about? I think that the people, Chris and Rob, tell me if you think of this is accurate. I think that so many baseball fans still think that baseball on the pro level is a game, and they haven't really got to the point where realizing it's now a business.
100%.
They're going to make money whatever way they got to make it. And if they win, they're thrilled. And if they lose, okay. You know, we're counting money at the end of the year.
Well, I think, Lou, to your point, how many casual fans or fans in general realize that teams make roster moves based on service time and how soon they'll have to pay guys? They send guys back down to the minor leagues and not put them on the 40-man roster because of it. They don't let guys make the team out of spring training because they don't want the arbitration clock to start ticking. Right. All that stuff that people don't realize goes on every day in the major leagues.
Oh, yeah. You know what? The game within the game is something we don't even know about. You know what I mean? Like I always joke around, only know about pro baseball. I'm not good enough to be involved in it. You know what I'm saying? Rob.
We don't want your arbitration clock to start ticking, Lou. We'll keep you in the minor leagues.
Anybody that's brave enough to come on camera with a red shirt on.
He's wearing it for the Angels. Angels is celebrating.
Sam, it's the salmon shirt, guys. Salmon. Salmon. Because I get paid big bucks out here. Three Village. You know what I'm saying?
No, I know that school district well.
The best.
Yeah, I'm a product. My lovely wife is a product of Three Village school districts as well. My in-laws.
Oh, come on. Great place.
Some of the finest people I know, including Louis P.
Come on. You guys are the best. You guys
All
are
right, gentlemen. And Louis, next week, same time, 6, 7-ish.
Yes, let's go. I'm in. I think we're off that day. We have no game that day. We're gonna play.
We'll start at 8 a.m.
We're gonna play 7 games in the next 5 days. We're pumped up at Ward Melville.
All right. You have 7 arms?
No, I got 14.
Oh, well, there you go.
Anybody that can throw the baseball, Chris, you'll love this. I said it at the meeting. I can say it on the podcast. Anybody is left-handed that can throw strikes in honor of Stephen Matz, Chris Solano, Anthony Kay. We take them.
Lou, as I said, I'm about to lose my spot on that Mount Rushmore of left-handed pitchers.
Buddy, you're on it. You're on it.
I don't know.
The field wasn't even diamond dust. It was
diamond dust.
I think George Washington ran his wagon over those fields. You know what I mean?
I think you're right.
But, I was waiting to watch a lacrosse game or something. I don't know what he was doing.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly right. Exactly right.
You'll always be on Mount Rushmore, Chris. You've done great things for the community. A lot of people know that you're doing very well at Dowling. You're doing very well at New Haven. Your contributions in baseball extend well beyond what you did at Old Town Road. And, I know the people here appreciate it. I know that.
I think my biggest contribution to the community was moving away.
Wow.
I think that's everybody still has my biggest contribution.
Listen, when you move away, they love it when you come back. They know you're not.
Yeah, that's true. That's what I said. Right.
Well, Robbie, how are you doing? What's going on, Robbie?
Well, that's it, man. I'm behind the camera today, and I'm just producing.
Rob's like the Wizard of Oz right now. He's under the curtain.
No, Chris
He's the Wizard. Together? It's unbelievable.
Yeah. What's that, Lou?
It's my first experience on this. I never faced on my computer. I had this computer for 3 years. I didn't know the green light was on. Holy cow. I see Chris. I see you. We had fun. I closed the blinds over here. The deer behind wanted to watch the show. I couldn't let him in. In the forest.
Well, you're invited back next week, same time, 6, 7-ish.
All right, brother.
And so we'll plan on that for the folks that watch Kenny, Alexis, all the viewers out there, listeners for the SportsBiz Podcast. We had Rob, Chris, and brother Lou out there in Long Island. Thanks again. We'll catch you next week.
Come on back.
Thanks, guys.
See you, Louie.
See you, Chris. Bye, Robbie.
See you, Louie.
Have fun, guys. See you, Robbie.
See you, brother.
That was fun.
They live to be on?